This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pimm Fox. Emerging market stocks declining today, as did stocks in the United States. The MSCI Emerging Markets Index, it fell about 0.2%. This after a worse than expected jobs picture in the United States, as well as slowing growth for manufacturing in China. But my next guest still sees some opportunities out there. Schapiro is a portfolio manager at Sentinel Asset Management. Sentinel manages about $20 billion. Catherine, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Great to be here.
I love the red. You got all put together today.
I did.
Now, we were speaking earlier today about the opportunities in emerging markets, and you said that they do exist, but that given the fact that you can find almost bad news everywhere you look, as an investor, you need to be a little bit defensive right now. Talk about that.
Right. So, one, emerging markets, we know that that's where the growth is. The real growth in the world right now is this part of this whole generational shift, if you will, because so much of the world's population is moving up in their standard of living. So that's an incredible opportunity for companies around the world based in those markets, as well as based, whether it's in the US or Europe, other places. And especially at a time of very high risk, sometimes you like to go and find comfort in those companies that have been there, done that, and have shown their ability to work through problems in difficult times.
All right, now one of the companies that probably exemplifies what you're describing, we were talking about Danone. This is the global yogurt maker.
Correct.
Based in France. They've got operations all over the world, distribution systems in place. And
right.
You were looking at this, though, as a little bit of a safe play.
That's right. Well, you know, Danone, Group Danone, it has been around for a very long time, and their specialty, as you mentioned, is in really three areas now. It's what they consider dairy, which is primarily the yogurt-based business. They also have a baby foods business and water, bottled water. Evian is the main brand, but obviously they sell in the other brands as well. And they focused in on those three businesses. And what's been really good is they've managed through this difficult patch where food prices, so their raw material prices are going up, and they've been managing through that quite well, even though they can't necessarily translate all those gains into price increases on the other side.
All right, so the shares of Group Danone, safe, a little bit predictable, global operator.
Right.
Tell us about Fanuc. This is a Japanese-based company. It makes robots. If you go into any kind of big manufacturing plant, particularly in the automobile industry, chances are you're going to see a Fanuc robot doing some welding.
Well, it's either the Fanuc robot or they're making the motors that go inside somebody else's robot. So it's often the brains of the machine, as well as sometimes the whole machine itself. And, well, today, I would imagine tonight in Japan, Fanuc's probably going down because some of the manufacturing numbers. But this is really, again, it's a long-term play on a world that's changing. Companies have to stay competitive. They have to stay efficient and conservation, you know, take care of their capital. So they have to invest in the newest kind of products. And as well, they start to take advantage of, say, China trying to move up this value-added manufacturing curve. So as China's wages are increasing, Chinese companies need to see how can they save money, and part of what they can do is automate their factories. So Fanuc is a huge play on ultimately that growth in China as well.
And so as they move up, as you say, the food chain, rising wages in China, not necessarily a threat to a company like Fanuc, actually an opportunity, because the plant managers are going to say, all right, how can we produce these things and not have our costs go up?
That's correct. That's correct. And they want to, as they move up that value-added chain, you know, you go from making the compact cars, you know, the cheapy, super cheapy cars to the luxury Lexus-type cars. You need better precision, better quality products, and all that is helped by the automation equipment.
All right. I want to thank you very much. Catherine Schapiro joining us from Sentinel Asset Management. Appreciate your focus on Group Danone as well as Fanuc.